Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. You know that overwhelming feeling of modern burnout? Well, today we're going to explore a massive shift in how we live and work, moving away from forcing our way through that burnout and instead effortlessly flowing with natural systems. This whole concept stems from a fascinating realization by horticultural consultant Graham Farrar, which was actually inspired by Wilf Richards' book, The Power of Permaculture Principles. Picture this, it's 2012 and you are paddling a kayak upstream against an incredibly violent current. You're exhausted, fighting for literally every single inch. That is exactly how Graham described his old mindset. He was basically at war with the world, swimming against a tide he didn't even know was there. But then, cut to 2026. Imagine you just turn that kayak around. You let the river sweep you forward effortlessly, and all you really have to do is gently steer. That right there is the absolute essence of coexistence. And the real turning point here is this brilliant realization: work is what happens when we ignore the design. I mean, wow, that fundamentally reframes the whole picture, doesn't it? True productivity actually happens when we stop treating every little problem like a battle, step back, and just let nature do the heavy lifting for us. So let's look at Section 1, Designing Out the Work. When Graham is out reviewing drone telemetry on his screen, he's not looking at the landscape as some wild thing he needs to conquer. Instead, he applies this sort of mental overlay, turning raw topographic lines into natural paths of what he calls free energy. He carefully watches how gravity naturally moves water across a slope, or exactly how the sun vectors hit the terrain, because when you observe those pre-existing forces, the fighting just stops. Which brings us to a really fascinating definition. Work is simply a need that the system doesn't meet itself. Think about it. If you force a high-maintenance solution on something, you are quite literally creating work for yourself. But if you align your goals with those natural flows of water and sunlight we just talked about, the system actually starts to maintain itself. The relationships between the elements take over, and what used to be backbreaking hard work, it magically transforms into a completely effortless yield. Moving right along to Section 2, Honoring the Quiet Voice. So in his PC repair and web design business, Graham used to rely 100% on rigid, cold logic. But now, if he's working on a layout or a really complex repair and something just feels off, he doesn't force the code. He literally steps away from the screen. He pauses, closes his eyes, and honors his intuition. He listens for that quiet voice of experience, realizing that his gut reaction is usually picking up on a pattern his conscious mind just hasn't fully processed yet. We can think of this as the gentle art of avoidance. By adopting this mindset, you stop trying to control every single variable. You learn to coexist with the foxes, those totally unexpected disruptions that pop up in life. You start building systems that are naturally flexible and forgiving. And honestly, you just accept that we live in this complex, chaotic mash. Embracing that brings so much peace. Okay, let's break this down practically with Section 3, the 3-2-1 Action Plan. We'll kick off the countdown with 3. This stands for the 3 ethical filters. Think of it as a harmony check for your daily decisions. First up, Earth Care. Are you seeking to heal the land and yourself by reconnecting with natural rhythms? Second, People Care. Are you treating your community as a living entity and including human nature in your plans? And third, Fair Shares. Are you taking only the abundance given freely by the system? If your decisions pass these 3 filters, you're definitely on the right track. Dropping down to 2. This represents 2 principal applications for your immediate environment. First is Zone 0, your internal nature. Your task here is to pinpoint one specific time this week where you totally ignored your intuition about your workload. Take a second to reflect on what your gut was desperately trying to tell you. Then there's Zone 1, the landscape. I want you to look at a task you do all the time that feels like an absolute slog, and figure out how biological growth, or the sun, or gravity can literally just do it for you. And finally, we arrive at number 1. We are the forest. This is the immediate yield, and it's the single most important step you can take today to stop battling and start flowing. And the best part? No planning required. Just go outside for exactly 5 minutes. Completely detach from your screens, sit down, and don't do a single thing. Just watch the wind move through the trees. That realization that you aren't conquering variables anymore, but actually joining the forest, that is your immediate yield. Because once it really clicks that we aren't fighting the world, but flowing with it as an actual living part of the forest,
Abundance isn't just a fleeting win anymore. It becomes a permanent state of being. So, as we wrap up this explainer and you get ready to step outside for your own 5-minute yield today, I'll leave you with one final question. Are you ready to flow?